Hi and welcome to the War Bunker. Today we're going to be starting a bit of an unusual campaign, partly because this is actually going to be a one-player campaign where I control both sides. So just try out some narrative rules that we want to see if work. Cameron's a bit busy at school, a bit too busy to play, so I just kind of want to try this a small scale, see if this works, and see if we can introduce some of these rules into our future narrative campaign. See if it's too complicated or too difficult. So I really wanted to kind of start with quite a simple story. And what you can see here is an Ironsmith, what's called an Ironsmith sky crane. And this is what they kind of drop all their ordnance and people and vehicles onto a planet with. And this was evacuating a load of Ironsmiths, including one of their versions of a Land Raider and two of their dreadnoughts and a whole host of troops, when it got hit and kind of crash landed on this moon of Sycharis. They quickly erected around themselves a defensive perimeter because they soon realised that they were in reach of like an orc village. And so the Restless, the natives are rather restless. In fact, that's what the first part's called, Restless Natives. Now, there is actually more points really in Space Marines here. If you remember, these are my Space Dwarves that I use with the Salamander rule. I'm just going to turn the lights on to illuminate them better. And they're a mantic figure that we use as salamanders. And there will be more figures here than there in points than there is orcs. However, and this is where it gets interesting, and this is where we want to see, there are no reinforcements for this. So at the end of a game, I'll take everyone who wasn't insta-killed by a strength 8 weapon or more, and I'll determine whether they live or die, basically. What's going to happen is let's take this guy here. And if he's injured and there's a medical guy just over there, if he's still alive, I'm going to roll a dice, and on a 1 or a 2 the guy's dead, he ain't coming back. On a 3 and a 4 he's injured, which means he can't fight next game, but he will be able to fight the game afterwards. And on a 5 or a 6 he's just back to normal, basically. So, although everyone is on the table for this thing, you can imagine game on game, it's likely to deteriorate. Now, there's a Land Raider, but the bad news about Land Raider for the people here is the Land Raider is basically immobilised. They've kind of pushed it in part as part of their defensive perimeter. Its weapons are all working. It's basically armed with flamers. But this thing ain't going to move at all, so they're kind of stuck with it. There'll be similar rules for any vehicles that are damaged as well. Now, what they have in general is they have 20 troops. As you can imagine, some are just staying inside the Starship as a reserve unit. That's just normal troops. Then they've got 3 squads of 5 Devastators. And they're equipped alternately with heavy bolters. One's equipped with heavy flamers. I don't think you can actually take them, but I'm twisting the rules slightly because the salamanders and it's heavy weapons. There is 5 Terminators led by their basically chapter master, who's basically a Vulcan Heston clone, and there is 5 with multi-melters, which, because we've got that chapter master, will mean that they get to reroll any misses. And then there are 2 dreadnoughts armed with, no surprise, heavy flamers and multi-melters, and 1 thunderfire cannon. And against that, I basically just put my hand in and pulled out as many different types of orcs as I could. And in actual fact, I'm noticing I'm missing. So there's going to be another one there. And there is a Death Dread here, a Flamer, which I kind of put on the Flamer truck, which I put on the floor board, and then realised Don't they get feel no pain against flamers, so that might be a bit dumb. 15 orcs. There's going to be a mega knob, squad of 3 mega knobs inside there. There's a squad of knobs plus the leader, who's got a claw, power claw. Another squad of 15 guys. There are some flash kits in there. There are some tank busters there. And there is a killer can and another death dread, but that with a zap gun. And there's also there's a cannon in there as well. So they've got plenty of guys. So let's get at it and see what happens. First turn we'll go to the salamanders and we'll take it from there.
Okay, that was the end of round 1. Now, one of the reasons we want to do this campaign, just to play around with angles and telling storyboard from the actual figures perspective. But you can see the orcs are getting damn close. As you could expect, the
Ironsmiths managed to dish out a lot of punishment. They've managed to take out completely one of the war trucks, and those guys are kind of trying to challenge that part of the line. Most of the orcs, because this section is so heavy flamer, they're just kind of diverting and they're challenging this bit, which they think is going to be the weak spot. The killer can got toasted in the first barrage. That failed to do much. That got hot but didn't damage itself. The cannon. There have been casualties this side there, and there's another casualty here, which means that the return volley of fire won't be quite as effective. But yeah, you can see lots of dead orcs everywhere. So we're going to round 2. And as we go into round 2, I think this guy's going to call a war. Well, as soon as his turn is. And round 2, and it's a sad scene of carnage. The orcs are pretty much breaking through the wall here, and this section has just completely been wiped out, the Devastators. The 2 dreadnoughts here have been quite damaged. This one can't move, but that one can. Out in the field, basically the Terminators jump through. The Chapter Master is down to 2 wounds, and they've basically annihilated that whole group. With the Mega Knobs having been almost wiped out from multi-melter fire, but one charged in and has done a lot of damage and pretty much wiped out the Terminators bar the Chapter Master there. Elsewhere, the Death Dread there has been completely wiped out. The cannon hit there, managed to get a really good shot on the dreadnoughts here, and basically managed to get both of them with a lucky shot and take them down a wound. And this, as I said before, this one's immobilised now. Not looking good. But that's what we want. We want a bit of a challenge, don't we? Interesting how this side's crumbling. Those flamer guys have kind of completely made a hole there because like nobody really wants to attack there, especially with that. Even that's taken a bit of a hit. It's now down to 2 hull points because of persistent fire from the tank busters. The flash gits over at the monument have taken a battering. They're down to about 3 models now. They've managed to get some good rolls and actually cause a bit of pain against the troops in general, but not really caused huge amounts so far because, of course, the Orks they've had an AP2 and AP3 hits, but of course we're behind the barricade, so they're very hard to damage, and Orks can't hit for anything. So here we go, round 3. More and more carnage. This Death Dread has broken through and managed to kill that Dreadnought. The Dreadnought did actually manage to kill off the War Boss, which was good. Unbelievable. Yeah, basically all my flamer units moved in position and basically torched the Orks that had got through there and pretty much wiped them out, including the vehicle behind. Because Salamanders, they get a re-roll on the heavy flaming, which was really good. But even with the feel no pain, one of the Salamanders, well, Ironsmiths has basically succumbed to a flamer attack from this guy, after me thinking it would be quite useless. As you can just see, pretty much the entire army has been wiped out. Thunderfire Cannon finished off the flash kits that were in there, and there's only like 3 tank hunters left now. I'm still going to play the last round, this round 4. I think it will pretty much wrap up at that point. But what I'm expecting is it to have there's been a lot more casualties, I think, particularly on this side, than I expected. And it'll be interesting to see just how many men I will have to go into the next campaign with. So here goes. And there it is, complete Ork wipeout. The perimeter has held, but not without some severe costs, which we're going to go through in a minute. Lots of dead Orks around. Piles of dead Orks. But unfortunately quite a few dead Ironsmiths as well. Let's go and see who lives and who survives. Which is also a way of saying living. Who lives and who dies. Not who lives and who survives, honestly. Okay, here you go. So, fortunately, these 2 guys, on the left is our medic, on the right is our tech marine, survived, which kind of helps to make some of these rolls a little easier. We had 1, 2, just normal troops died, and 1 will be back in the next game, but 1 is dead, completely removed. Bye-bye, guys. You did a good job. We have here 5 of our Devastators. I use a white for the Sergeant on this. Let's see how this roll goes. Oh, this isn't good. That one was cocked. Okay, the Sergeant is dead. Bye. Oh gosh. And also another one of the troops is gone. But the other 3 can be in the next game. So we had 1 flame guy. As ridiculous as this seems for Salamander, and he's dead as well. Oh, so all these things are going to turn quite painful. Our Dreadnought, do I get to use the Dreadnought again, or is this just sold for scrap? Sold for scrap. This is really hurting. But this is half the thing we wanted to try. Of course, you want to kind of slowly lose. I mean, it simulates kind of a kind of Band of Brothers unit that slowly loses guys. And then we've got these 5 guys now. See if these dice rolls improve a little bit. Oh, that's not bad. We've only lost 1 guy, and pretty much everyone else is back for the next game. But ooh, now you can see that although the Ironsmiths had a numerical advantage, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt game on game. They're going to lose ability, so that and I expect this to be a 3-game campaign. By the final game, it will be, if the next game goes a bit dicey, there will be difficulty with keeping survivors. Anyway, so that's all for this game. See you for part 2 coming very soon.